This all seems so logical. I mean, it seems so logical that it's not just where the money is, but do I actually have a right to get it? Do I have the capability of getting it? It seems very logical that I should start with my core, start where I know I'm good and I know and expand my headroom. That then I should look for adjacencies defined by what I'm good at and not simply defined because they happen to be next door neighbors. And then I should think about geographic expansion because then my capability system may be a little bit less certain to be rooted. And sort of at a last resort, or with the highest level of risk, undertake a whole new capability. I mean, it seems like a very logical progression. And yet, as we were saying earlier, in an awful lot of boardrooms, that's not the way the conversation is happening. Why do people get drawn from this? What are the siren songs that seduce them away from this, or why is it so hard to plot growth this way?
I think, Tom, that there are a number of different reasons, and they express themselves differently company to company, but there are at times examples of hubris, belief that as powerful and as good as a company is, they have the right to win in many different markets with many different capability systems. And so you can imagine what unfolds as a result. There's a difficulty around being precise about what a company does well. It becomes very difficult within a company to commit to a few things that make a difference and then tell everybody else that they're about keeping the lights on or they're about good old operational management as opposed to being integral to the success of a firm over time. And so this inability to really be clear about what the objective of the company is, what its way to play is, what capabilities are important, is a very difficult discussion to have with personnel at large within a company. And so that makes it difficult also. There's another reason why companies don't do this, right? You've got hubris, you've got lack of precision, and just this fundamental business miscalculation that I'll be better off having a larger portfolio of potential opportunities.
Yeah, and so this temptation, you know, this belief that sort of we can grow, anybody can look brilliant in a bull market, right? It's easy to look brilliant in a bull market. We're not in a bull market, and it seems to me that this particular demand environment makes it all the more important to focus on capabilities as the engine of growth, because in fact that sort of external macroeconomic engine of growth is idling at the traffic light. Is that a fair way to put it? And if I were talking to CEOs now or sitting in a boardroom now and thinking it's time to make my plans for the next fiscal year, is that how I should be thinking about where my growth is?
I would say that in times like this, one's room for error is much smaller. And it's that much more important that you get it right because getting it wrong is going to be much more apparent in a slow growth environment than in a boom period. And so I think it's that much more important to understand what your capabilities are, understand where your headroom for growth is, and then figure out how you can bring those capabilities to where you have the most headroom.
Ken Favaro, Cesare Mainardi. Briefly summarizing, I think the argument here is that growth is an imperative. Companies need to grow to survive. Too many times, companies look only externally for growth and simply seek a growing market and say, let's jump into that. The wisest thing is for them, in fact, to look inward to their own capabilities, to ask themselves, what's that handful of things we're better at than anybody else, and build a growth strategy there, starting with what's my core business and how can I grow that, going on next to where can I take those core capabilities and find new markets in which to sell them, and going third to new geographies, and if necessary, finding the opportunity to build a new set of capabilities because my old handful isn't working for me. That's the summary of a conversation about driving growth through capabilities, and Cesare, Ken, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.